Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're doing week number 2 or episode number 2 of me going through my entire shelves and unhauling. Only, here's the thing, the first 4 weeks, I think the first 3 videos are going to be me going through my unhaul pile and seeing if there's anything I want to keep, which completely derails my goals. And like, I'm looking at it opposite, but maybe there's a gem in here that I really prejudged, or just, you know, I don't know, I just want to make sure. Anyways, I literally have 15 minutes before I have to walk out the door. I am all the way ready except for my purse, which is out there ready to go. So we're gonna do as much as we can right now. We're trying to get through all 3 piles right here. We're not gonna do it, so it's gonna be in little stages, but sorry, that's the life of a mother, so we're gonna do what we can. We're gonna start with this pile. So oh, these were like on a TBR? Why? How? What? Wait, is this? No, this month is. I'm so confused. Okay. Let's do this. I'm gonna be unhauling both of these. Grown Up Pose and The Wedding Ringer. I've tried to read both of them, and, like, I just don't care. I think it's the writing. I just did not connect with the writing. So, we're going to continue to unhaul those. Then, we have Safe by S.K. Barnett. This was on a TBR several months ago, in 2024, November, maybe. I didn't read it, but it sounds really good. It's about this 6-year-old named Jenny who went missing. She was snatched off the sidewalk, and now 12 years later she's returned, and now so I guess she's 18 now. I don't know, it sounds pretty good. I'm gonna keep this one for now. Okay, then there's The Last Guest by J.P. Pomeroy. I'm going to continue with the unhaul on this one. It's a domestic, and I don't really read a lot of domestics. And I read the prologue, and it was somewhat intriguing because it follows this couple who goes to their lake house, and on their front porch is this note that says she's dead. And, like, the husband doesn't react at all. But at the same time, I was a little bit bored. So I'm just going to let that one go. Now, If You See Her by Anya Alborn. This, I literally just read or watched my 25 books I must read in 2025. And apparently this was on there, so I have to see this one. I'm not really into graphic novels, so I'm just gonna unhaul all of them. Okay, Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. Winner of the Pulitzer Prize. At times stern, at other times patient, at times perceptive, at other times in sad denial. Olive Kitteridge, a retired school teacher, devours the changes in her little town of Crosby, Maine, and in the world at large, but she doesn't always recognize the changes in those around her. A lounge musician haunted by a past romance. A former student has lost the will to live. Olive's own adult child who feels terrorized by her irrational sensitivities, and her husband Henry who finds his loyalty to his marriage both a blessing and a curse. I'm gonna continue with the unhaul. Revolutionary Road by Richard Yates. See, I got this a few years ago when my Bookmans went out of business, and They closed down 2 stores to create one big mega center, and every book was $1. So yes, I am trying to justify it. This is some kind of movie because that's a movie cover. I've never watched the movie or read the book. So in the hopeful 50s, Frank and April appear to be a model couple. Bright, beautiful, talented, with 2 young children and a starter home in the suburbs. Perhaps they married too young and started a family too early. Maybe Frank's job is dull and April never saw herself as a housewife. Yet they have always lived on the assumption that greatness is only just around the corner. But now that certainty is about to crumble. With heartbreaking compassion and clarity, Richard Yates shows that Frank and April mortgage their spiritual brighthood. I don't need that one. Should I tell you? A single summer can become a season of endless possibility. Oh, I hope this is not Young Doll. If it's Young Doll, it's going. Amber Nichols, Latchley McCarthy, and Rafali Wright would have never met, much less been friends and foster siblings, if it hadn't been for Teddy Pelham. So when they get the news that Teddy is bestowed with someone he met while on vacation, they know they have to keep their beloved foster father from making a massive mistake. The problem is they barely have a grip on their own lives, so how can they possibly help Teddy? Lakin is too busy running his restaurant to get involved with anything or anyone. Raphael has his sights on coming home to Landerloch and starting a business away from the streets of London. And Amber's been hiding a secret from everyone. Oh my god, I have to save this one. That sounds amazing. Okay, there's The Surgeon by Leslie Wolfe. I don't like medical thrillers. This one sounds good, but I'm not, am I? Okay, let's read. I've never lost a patient until today. Before my world came crashing down, I had it all. The successful career I dreamed of, the beautiful red brick home where I could relax in front of the fire, the handsome, devoted husband whose blue eyes and charming smile always made me feel safe. As I call time of death, my voice is steady. My colleagues stand hushed around me, their eyes on me, confused, concerned. My hands tremble inside their gloves. I slide down the cold tiled walls, my heart racing in my chest. But what choice did I have once I recognized him? And what will I do to protect myself if someone learns the truth? Okay, fine. No, I'm not gonna read it though. I don't like hospital thrillers, so no. Better Than Fiction by Alexa Martine. This I've read. It was fine. I didn't love it, so it can go. The Last Wife by Karen Hamilton. 2 women, a dying wish, and a web of lies that will bring their worlds crashing down. Nina and Marie were best friends until Nina was diagnosed with a terminal illness. Before she died, Nina asked Marie to fulfill her final wishes, but her mistake was in thinking Marie was someone she could trust. Yes, I want to give this one a shot. Okay, The Fire Between High and Low by Brittany Cherry. I do really want to read something by Brittany Cherry. I've heard amazing things about this author. I think the reason that it's on my unhaul pile is because it's not the first in the series. And I know you can read them as standalones, I think. There once was a boy and I loved him. Logan and I were complete opposites. I danced and he stood still. He was quiet while I ran my mouth. He struggled to find a smile and I refused to frown. We were broken together, yet somehow whole. We were wrong together, but always right. We were the stars that burned across the night sky, searching for a wish, praying for better tomorrows. I'm willing to get the rest of the series, so I'm gonna save this one. The Rom-Com Agenda by Jane Deckner. I've read this and I didn't love it. Okay, Nancy Bush. This is The Camp by Nancy Bush. Okay, the reason this one's on here is also because it's the second in a series. There are always stories told around the fire at summer camp. Tall tales about gruesome murders and unhinged killers. Concocted to scare new arrivals and led an extra jolt of excitement to those hormone-charged nights. At Camp Luftshank, nicknamed Camp Love Shack, there are stories about a creeping fog that brings death with it, but hey, they're not just campfire tales. Here, the stories are real. I want to save this one. I would like to start this entire series, so I can't read it yet because I need to buy the first in the series, and that's why some of these were on there, but this one actually sounds amazing. Then we have Don't Wake Up. The nightmare starts when she opens her eyes. Ooh, is this in... Oh. Ooh, I don't know why this is here. Okay, when Dr. Alex Taylor opens her eyes, she's hooked up to an IV, restrained to an operating table, her legs raised in stirrups. Disoriented and alarmed, she assumes she's being worked on and brought to surgery after being in an accident. But the man standing over her with his face hidden behind a surgical mask and wielding instruments is no physician she recognizes at the hospital where she works. But she is on an anesthetic, so she can't defend herself. Oh my... Yes, I'm saving this. Good Girls Don't Die by Christina Henry. I didn't hate this. I didn't love it either. It was like a 4-star. Okay, here's the thing. I loved all 3 stories, and I loved Celia, Allie, and Maggie, but I hated when they all... Like, the ending. I hated the ending. I'm going to save this one, though. I have read it and enjoyed it. When the Lights Go Out by Mary Kubica. I don't like Mary Kubica's writing. Ooh. Then there's The Family Plot by Megan Collins. This was fine, but I'm never going to read it again, so I'm just going to unhaul it. There's The Housekeeper by Natalie Bareilles. It was fine as well, but I'm never going to reread it. Okay, then we're About That Fling by Tanya Fensk. Her perfect match is smart, sexy, and funny, and perfectly off limits. As the top PR person for the Belmont Health System, bright, beautiful Jenna knows how to spin bad news and make it sound good. But when her adorable Aunt Gertrude, a secret romance writer, urges Jenna to embrace her wild side, Jenna tumbles into bed with Adam, a guy she's just met for fun and fantastic one-night stand. Too bad Adam is the guy who's totally off limits. There aren't enough clever words in the world to spin the story in a way that won't wreck Jenna's closest friendship or destroy her job. With the irresistible Adam always around her at work, wearing an aura of temptation like a fabulous cologne, Jenna has to hold tight to her senses to avoid falling for him. When he takes her to the heights of pleasure again, or will their attraction destroy everything she's worked for? Okay, part of that sounds good, but I'm not interested. I don't like boss employee romances. We'll finish these later. It's been a while since I got to film the first part of this video. I thought I would be able to come back the other night, but, you know, life happened, so I couldn't. But I don't know if this was in the first rendition of this video series that I'm doing where we go through all of my books. And I did save it, Between Love and Loathing by Shane Rose. It's beautiful, honestly. It is the second in a book series, and I knew that, but it's a billionaire brothers romance series. I don't like the billionaire trope. It's a very big shame because it's so pretty, and it sounds kind of good. But I'm not going to read a billionaire brothers romance. I'm just not going to read a billionaire romance series. So I'm going to put that back on Pango. We're going to finish here and go to these 2 stacks. So, Unconditionally by Erin Lyon. Kate has accepted a job practicing signing law. The one type of law she swore she'd never do, especially since what she thought was her very own happily ever after turned into her another expired contract. But amid Kate's embarrassing penchant for running into exes in court, clients determined to use her as their own therapist, and a couple having a knockdown over the custody of the family guinea pig. The job's at least never boring. But while Kate finally has a handle on her career, her love life is still, well, complicated. Between one questionable ex, one player with a capital P, and the guy who's kind of stolen her heart even though she's in the friend zone, life should be a piece of cake. Unconditionally is both a sweet and sexy romantic comedy and a relatable look at finding happiness where you least expect it. I think I'm going to stick with unhauling it. It doesn't sound bad, but I've had it for so long that I'm never going to read it. Okay, this one I believe is part of a series. I think this is the second in the series, so I need to read the first one first, and I don't know if it's like companion novels, so I have to read them in order, but with my brain, I must read series in order, even if you don't technically need to. I don't know if that makes sense, but this is like a flappy paperback. It's super pretty. So this is All That We Are Together by Alice Kellen, a Let It Be novel. So it's part of the Let It Be series. A broken heart is not the end, but the beginning. 3 years have passed since Axel shattered Leah Jones's heart into a million pieces, and Leah has spent every moment of those 3 years distracting herself from the devastation that Axel caused. She pretends to move on with Landon, a guy from university, but she can only truly escape thoughts of Axel when she's painting. At least one good thing has come out of all of it. Her dream of exhibiting her work is finally coming true. Axel is aware of how much he misses Leah every day. The moment his best friend Oliver, Leah's brother, lets slip about Leah's exhibit, Axel can't think about anything but to go see her. Ooh, okay. That actually sounds very good. I'm going to do some more research on this one to see if it's the first in a series. I know it's part of a series, but I have to get the other books in the series to read them. So I'm going to save this one. Then there's The Life She Had by K.L. Armstrong. When we're threatening your home, how far would you go to protect it? You know what? This is a suspense novel. It's like an isolated suspense about this intruder that's in your backyard, and I'm not entirely sure what happens, but I have come to the conclusion that I'm not interested in that one. Okay. Then there's Don't Go Home by Carolyn Hart. This is a death on demand mystery. I don't like mystery series like this, so I'm just gonna continue with the unhaul. This one is The Mysterious Bennet Society by Trenton Lee Stewart. I think this is actually a children's novel, and I have no interest in it. I already have 2 copies on my foster parent bookshelf, like my foster for my kids, and I don't need another one. I also have a 3rd copy in my teaching books, so right now they're put in the shed, but hopefully can use them soon. Then there's Take My Hand by Dolan Perkins Valdez. See, this one sounds really, really good, but it's historical fiction, and I am a historical fiction hater. No, I have tried to read this a couple of times because it follows this nurse who is in Montgomery, Alabama in 1973. And she gets this house call to go check on these children, but she has to do something questionable for the times to help these children. And my immediate thought was like abortion for like a 13-year-old or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I've heard really good things about this, but here's the thing. I've read the first 50 pages and I'm gonna unhaul it. Even though the content and the concept sounds really good, I was really bored with the first 50 pages, so I'm just gonna not. Then there's Signal Fires by Dani Shapiro. I'm not interested. I've tried to read it. Ooh. Okay, then we have A Good Marriage by Kimberly McCree. I have liked some Kimberly McCree before, and this is like a domestic thriller, and I keep saying that I think I'm out of my domestic thriller era, but I don't. I'm gonna save this one, even though it's a domestic thriller. I don't love domestics as much as I used to, but I think I could still potentially find good domestic thrillers. See, here's the problem. That a lot of people hate domestic thrillers because they're very repetitive. It's always a cheating husband. It's all the same. And I don't disagree with you all the time, but there are some that can do a domestic and flip it on its head, and those ones are really, really good. But in general, domestics are a little overdone. With that being said, I will be keeping this. Let's figure out what it's about. Lizzie is working late when she gets the call. Grilling hours are stranded at elite law firms like Young and Crane, but they'd easier swallow if Lizzie was there voluntarily. Until recently, she'd been a happily underpaid prosecutor. With that job and her brilliant, devoted husband Sam, she had everything she ever wanted, and then suddenly it all fell apart. No, that's a lie. It wasn't sudden. Long ago, the cracks in Lizzie's marriage had started to show. She was just good at averting her eyes. The last thing Lizzie needs right now is a call from an inmate at Rikers Island asking for help, even if Zach is an old friend. But Zach is desperate. His wife Amanda has been found dead at the bottom of the stairs in their Brooklyn brownstone, and Zach's the prime suspect. As Lizzie is drawn into the dark heart of Park Slope, she learns that Zach and Amanda weren't what they seemed, and that their friends, a close-knit group of fellow parents at the exclusive Brooklyn County Day School, may be protecting troubling secrets. Okay, that sounds good. I'm then Signed Here by Claudia Lux. I've read this one. It's like a humorous horror novel about hell, and you follow Payet, who works in hell, and he's trying to get a promotion. So it's like he has to get this rich, wealthy family to sell one of their souls to the devil, and then he'll get the promotion that he's been wanting for years. And I don't like rich people problems, and that's what this felt like. Was it funny at times? Yes. Was it horror? No. I don't think it was all that scary, but the way they describe hell was so good. So good. I really loved the vivid imagery of hell, but the novel was fine. I think I gave it like 2 or 3 stars. It was fine. I just will never think about it again. Then I have The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. And yes, you are correct. This is one of my absolute favorites. This is an extra copy, I think. Let me see. This one was one that my friend gave me because she knows that I like to read. And I love to read. But this is one of my all-time favorite books. Or one of my all-time favorite thrillers. It's really, really good. I just don't need 2 copies. So I will continue to unhaul that one. My friend also gave me The Reckoning by John Grisham. This is part of a series, I believe. And honestly, I'm just not... I don't want to read John Grisham. I'm not interested. I wanted to force myself to read anything that my friends gave me, but it wasn't really a gift. It was just I'm gonna move. I'm gonna throw all this stuff away. So here, I'm gonna give it to you. And I think that should be a loophole to the rule of that I have to read everything that my friends like gift me in the year. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I'm gonna go with it. Okay. Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingat. It has 2 timelines. It's like 1939 Memphis and South Carolina today. But it's like adoption and like how these kids get into the foster care system. And I'm a foster mother and I really love that. I really wanted to like this book, but I didn't, so I'm gonna unhaul it. Then we have Closing Costs by Bracken McLeod. This was actually really boring. The first part of it was so good. It had such potential because you follow Neil and Nellie and Evan. And Nellie is left home alone after they buy their new house because, you know, Evan's on a trip for work, I think. And someone breaks in and, like, ties her up. And it gets real. I just didn't love it. Okay, and then there's The Rules of the Tunnel, My Brief Period of Madness by Ned Zeman. I wanted to read it. I think that it's about like mood disorders and things like that. I don't need to read. With Malice by Elaine Cook, I have found that I don't like those thrillers, like those vacation type thrillers, and this is what that is. I also... Oh, wait, but this has the memory trope. The memory loss trope. But here's the thing. Based on what this is about, it reminds me so much of the Amanda Knox case. And I was full-heartedly obsessed with the Amanda Knox case when it first happened. I was obsessed. But do I want to read a play-by-play of what I assume is going to be just like the Amanda Knox case? No. But am I prejudging it before I read it? Absolutely. So should I save it? Okay, let's see. It was the perfect trip until it wasn't. 18-year-old Jill wakes up in a hospital bed. Lagan casts stitches on her face and a big blank canvas where the last 6 weeks should be. She discovers she was involved in a fatal car accident while on a school trip in Italy, a trip she doesn't even remember taking. Okay, fine, I'll save this one reluctantly. The Safe Place by Anna Downs. No phones, no outsiders, no escape. It's like a babysitter and this wealthy family. And she just started there and they took her on this vacation. And again, I said I was going to unhaul it because I don't like vacation thrillers and I have owned this twice. So if I get rid of it a third time, I'm just not going to rebuy it. I can't. But I am intrigued by this, so I'm gonna save it. Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. Here's the thing. I loved this book. I ate it up. It's huge. It's slow burn. It's got thriller aspects, and it's a whole ton of fun, and I loved it. But then I read the next in the series, and I didn't like it, so then I gave up on the series. But I really do love this book. Knox and Naomi. Oh my god, they were so good together. They were so good. I'm never gonna reread it, so I'm gonna unhaul it. That's fine. This is Summer at Little Beach Street Bakery. Again, this is like a cozy book. And there was a time not that long ago where I was collecting all of the cozy books thinking that I'm going to be a cozy reader because it's cozy era. Yeah, I don't like cozy books. The stakes aren't high enough. So I'm just going to unhaul that one too. Little Deaths by Emma Flint. It's the summer of 1965, and the streets of Queens, New York, shimmer in a heat wave. One July morning, Ruth Malone wakes up to find a bedroom window wide open and her 2 young children missing. After a desperate search, the police make a horrifying discovery. Separated from her husband, Ruth has been raising her children alone. Nodding her perfectly made-up face and clothing, the empty liquor bottles and love letters that litter her apartment. Detectives leap to convenient conclusions. Sent to cover the case on his first big assignment, tabloid reporter Pete at first can't help to do the same, but the longer he spends watching Ruth, the more he learns about the darker workings of the police and the press. Ruth Malone is enthralling, challenging, and secretive. Is she really capable of murdering her children? See, here's the thing. I don't like detective novels, and I'm terrified that this is going to be really detective-y. But I am going to save it because part of it sounds really good. So, a couple years ago, I could not read books that children get hurt or anything like that. That was a big red flag for me, a big no. But now as a mother, I can read them. Is that weird? That's weird. I'm weird. It's okay. I'm gonna try this one. It is the second in a series. I'm not interested in the first book, so I'm just gonna unhaul this one, even though it sounds cute. Oh, you know what? There's A Surprise Inheritance, 2 Best Friends, Now Bitter Exes, 3 Months to Prove He Loves Her Forever and Always. So it doesn't sound terrible, but it's okay. I'm just gonna unhaul it. Rosaline Palmer Takes the Cake by Alexis Hall. I was really bored with this one. I did not get the swooniness. I've also read Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. And like I said, I love Things We Never Got Over. But I hated this one, so now I'm just going to unhaul that series. Okay, this is going to sound like a silly reason. I'm not really a historical reader, but this is Orphan Train by Christina Baker Klein. I don't like historical fiction, and I don't know if you can tell, but those are deckled edges. I hate deckled edges, so I'm going to unhaul that. Then there's The Redhead Revealed by Alice Clayton. Long distance love just got hotter. Life is sweet. Grace has just won her dream role in a new off-Broadway play, and the talented Huck flooding her phone with texts and scandalous photos is Jack Hamilton, the 24-year-old Brit, whose Hollywood career is about to climax faster than, you know. So what if their steamy relationship is bio-coastal and under wraps, or that LA fangirls are grabbing Jack's butt? Ooh. Okay, that one actually sounds kind of good. I'm gonna save this one. Okay, Privacy by Nina Sadowski. Oh, right. I read this entire one. It's about a therapist and some client secrets, which is a trope that I tend to either really, really love if it's done well, or really, really hate. I hated this one. Okay. Then we have The Daughters of Foxcoat Manor by Eve Chase. I don't like generational tales, so I don't know why I got this, because it says 3 generations, 2 summers, 1 explosive secret. The truth can shatter everything. When the Harrington family discovers an abandoned baby deep in the woods, they decide to keep her a secret and raise her as their own. But within days, a body is found in the grounds of their house, and their perfect new family implodes. Years later, Sylvie, seeking answers to nagging questions about her life, is drawn into the wild, beautiful woods where nothing is quite what it seems. Will she unearth the truth, and dare she reveal it? I'm gonna just unhaul it. That's fine. I don't need it. Okay, Never Been Kissed by Timothy Janovatsky. Dear, never been quite over you crush. It's been a few years, but I can't stop thinking about the time we almost. Ren has never been kissed, but he wants that movie perfect ending more than anything. Oh, he sends an email. Okay, ebook editions. Is this young adult? Because if it's young, I mean, he's never been kissed. So it kind of sounds like young adult. Oh, okay. So yeah, it takes place at like a senior prom. So it is a young adult. I'm not interested in young adult books, especially young adult romance. Then there's Witch Please by Anne Agar. A love so sweet, it must be magical. Donica is a fully modern witch. After a messy breakup, Donica makes a pact with her cousin. They'll keep their hearts protected and have fun. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna save this one. There's A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. This is the second in a series. I'm not interested in this series. I think it's young adult. Even if it's not, I don't care. This was given to me by that friend that said she was moving houses, and she got rid of a bunch of stuff, including some books that I'm not super interested in. Lydia, if you're watching this, I love you. I'm sorry. But this is A Minute to Midnight. It's an Alti Pine thriller. This is part of a series. I don't read series thrillers. I don't read series very often anyway. But I'm just not here. Speaking of not being part of a series, you know, series girly. These are Lock and Key. I think I have the entire series, and I'm unhauling the entire series. And The Closet. This was really good. It's scary, and the art is very dark, but it was a fun read. I'm just never gonna read it again. That's the problem with a lot of graphic novels. I read them once and I'm done, so I don't need to buy them anymore. Then there's Lost and Found by Jacqueline Sheehan. Rocky's husband, Bob, was just 42 when she discovered him lying cold and lifeless on the bathroom floor, and Rocky's world changed forever. Quitting her job, chopping off all of her hair, she leaves Massachusetts, reinventing her past and taking a job as animal control warden on Peaks Island, a tiny speck of the coast of Maine and a million miles away from everything she's lost. She leaves her career as a psychologist behind, only to find friendship with a woman whose brain misfires in the most wonderful way and a young girl who is trying to disappear. Rocky, a quirky character, discovers the healing process to be slow. And then she meets Lloyd, a large black lab. I am gonna skip this one and unhaul it. You know what? I feel like I'm doing actually pretty good. I'm not saving all of them like I kind of thought I would. 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake by Sarah McLean. There are things a lady simply does not do. She does not ride a stride. She does not fence or attend duels. She does not fire a pistol. And she never even sneaks into men's clubs for a night of gambling and other excitements. Hartwell has spent a life following the rules. As a reward, she's been forgotten at the edge of society, unnoticed and unsatisfied. I don't like I don't hate historical romance, but I'm not a historical fiction girly, so I'm just gonna let this one go too. This is Our Finest Hour by Jennifer Milliken. This is the first in a series, the Time series, book 1. Some people live by a set of rules. I have only one, and I learned it the hard way. Don't let anyone get too close. The night I met Isaac, I followed that rule. No last names exchanged, no details about our lives, and we spent the next hour soothing unspoken pains. When our hour was over, we went our separate ways, never to see each other again, until the day I suddenly needed help. We shared a shocked expression. We shared a stuttering greeting. Just wait until he finds out what else we share. I have a feeling he's going to take my rule and throw it out the window, but not without a fight. There's a reason for my rule, and I'm not going to forget it anytime soon. See, the reason that it's on Pango is because it's like water damaged. It came to me like this because it was a used book, and I didn't realize when I bought it because it was shipped to me, and I don't know, I was kind of sad that it was, I just didn't look at the posting well enough. I will save it though because it sounds kind of. Then we have The Ruining by Anna Collymore. This is another nanny type thriller. Okay, I'm going to keep it just because it's a nanny thriller, and I do really want to do a reading vlog where I read all the nanny thrillers. Then there's Somewhere Out There by Amy Hadavani. This one I started. It's again about these 2 girls. It follows these 2 sisters, one of which is adopted right away when her mom gets busted for stealing from a grocery store because they are homeless. And the other one that grows up in the foster care system and does not ever find her forever home. And the whole differences and the dynamic between the 2 is something that I am very interested in reading. Okay, fine. But see, I have read it. I tried to, and I wasn't loving it. I'm gonna try it again because that's something close and dear to my heart. The Red Thread by Anne Hood. This is like this tradition in China that there's an invisible red thread that leads from you to your soulmates, and that thread can't be broken. It sounds really good, but I've kind of flipped through this and there are a lot of characters and I think it might be multi-generational, and those are just words that I don't mind when there's a lot of different people, but I'm just not, I don't know. I'm not into this one. I want to be, but I'm not. Then there's Edenville by Sam Reblin. This was sent to me unsolicited. It's like a haunted house, but it follows a writer who's writing a book, and it's like urban legends, and I'm just not interested. And then What Do You Fear? Book 1 by E.L. Jefferson. I don't know. This is short stories. I'm not interested. But Nanny Dearest by Flora Collins. It's another nanny thriller, so of course I'm saving it. No One Like You by Kate Engel. This was fine. I won't ever think about it again. Mr. Penborough's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. So, I started this and I was bored, but it's supposed to be like this whimsical, magical adventure about this 24-hour bookstore where you go and I think the books like transport you to the magical worlds. Question mark, question mark, question mark. But I heard that's more like literary, and that's not what I was wanting when I was reading it. So I'm not sure if it was the book's fault. So for that reason, I'm going to save this. Then there's Glitter and Glue by Kelly Corrigan. When Kelly was in high school, her mother neatly summarized the family's dynamic as your father's the glitter, but I'm the glue. This meant nothing to Kelly, who left childhood sure that her mom, with her commandments and proud cynicism, would be nothing more than background chatter for the rest of Kelly's life, which she was carefully oriented toward adventure. After college, armed with a backpack, her personal mission statement, and a wad of traveler's checks, she took off for Australia to see things and do things and become interesting. But it didn't turn out the way she pictured it. In a matter of months, receiving shot, she had a choice: get a job or go back home. That's how Kelly met John, a newly widowed father of 2 looking for a live-in nanny. What? What? Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever read that part. They chatted for an hour discussing time and pay, and a week later Kelly moved in, and then in that house, a suburb north of Sydney, 10,000 miles from the house where she was raised, her mom's voice was suddenly everywhere, nudging and advising, cautioning and directing, escorting her through terrain as foreign as she'd ever trekked. Every day she spent with the Tanner kids was a day spent reconsidering her relationship with her mom. It says it's a memoir. I'm going to save this one. The Best Friend by Jessica Fellows. Bella and Kate. Kate and Bella. From childhood, they were kindred spirits. Bella sensible and cautious. Kate generous and just a little dangerous. Yet, in spite of their intimacy, their trust is fragile. Men came into their lives and things changed. A black seed was set in the heart of their relationship. Over decades, acts of both cruelty and love ferment until one shocking event tests them more than ever. Neither will escape unscathed. I'm going to unhaul this one. I don't need it. Then there's Lean on Me by Pat Simmons. No one should have to go it alone. No one should have to go it alone. Tabitha is overwhelmed with sorrow and exhaustion caring for her beloved aunt, whose dementia is getting worse. I know why I bought this. I bought it because I got it at a library book sale, so it was cheap. And I think dementia is something that is not talked about enough and read about enough. I am not interested in this though. Lost Girl by J.C. Gray. She had it all, so why did she run? Emerald Reed McAllister, a high-profile model and stylist, has always been careful to make sure no one sees the real her. Not even her husband Mark, ambitious, intelligent, adoring, knows the real M. So when tragedy sends a wrecking ball through her perfect world, she flees, heading far away from the life she's created for herself. After a near collision in the dark, M, in a panic, steers off the road and discovers Lammermoor House, a crumbling old ruin that seems mysteriously welcoming, even just perhaps a sanctuary. As the days pass, M starts to believe the house is having a healing effect on her battered soul, but not everyone is happy about M being there. A series of odd events make M feel a little uneasy. Why are some in town so insistent that she leaves right away? And what is behind the locked door on the first floor? But as the house slowly begins to reveal its secrets, past and present collide with devastating impact, and M finally comes to understand what really matters. And to save what she treasures most, M will have to face off the ghost. It says an atmospheric and haunting story of mystery and romance. I don't like romantic suspense or romance in my mysteries. I will give this a shot. I will save it. Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns by Mindy Kaling. This was a memoir that I read. It was good. It was fine. I had fun with it. I'm just never gonna reread it or think about it again. So that is also why I will be selling Why Not Me by Mindy Kaling. She's funny. It's a really good memoir. Both of them are fine. I just don't need them. Then there's All Involved by Ryan Gaddis. This takes place in 1992 after 3 white police officers get acquitted for murdering Rodney King, who was a black man, and 1 black police officer does not get acquitted. But this is kind of their story. And here's the thing, it sounds really good. I think I bought it around the time of George Floyd. Because I wanted to educate myself some more. And I do think that this is a really important topic to research and to read about and things. I'm realistically never going to reach for this. But someone else might. Okay. Then we have A History of Wild Places by Shea Ernshaw. Okay, I really have enjoyed Shea Ernshaw's young adult novels. And this one is scary because it's like a fantasy, but it's a mystery too. Let's see. A gorgeously written tale of a community frozen in time and falling, heading into darkness. The plot twist will leave you breathless. My camera overheated, so it's been a few hours since I was filming this, but it's okay because I've been cleaning and doing other adult things, grocery shopping, momming. I don't know, that's not really a verb, but I made it one. Anyways, let's finish this stack for this video. I'll show you this stack. And then I can start filming different videos for my channel. Probably, maybe. I know that we talked about A History of Wild Places, but I don't think that I actually figured out what it's about yet. So, Travis has an unusual talent for locating missing people. Hired by families as a last resort, he requires only a single object to find the person who has vanished. When he takes on the case of Maggie St. James, a well-known author of dark children's books, he's led to a place many believe to be only a legend. And I've never read any further than that, but because I'm trying to figure out if I want to keep it or like save it from being unhauled or not, we are going to finish reading it. Known as Pastoral, this reclusive community was founded by like-minded people searching for a simpler way of life. But soon after Travis stumbles upon it, he disappears, just like Maggie St. James. Years later, Theo, a lifelong member of Pastoral, discovers Travis's abandoned truck beyond the border of the community. No one is allowed in or out, not without the risk of bringing a disease, the rot, into Pastoral. Unraveling the mystery of what happened reveals secrets that Theo, his wife Calla, and her sister Bee keep from one another. Secrets that prove their perfect, isolated world isn't as safe as they believed, and that darkness takes many forms. I think I'm going to continue to unhaul this one. Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. I love Lynn Painter, but I didn't like this one. I'm sorry. I didn't like it. Oh my goodness. The It Girl by Ruth Ware. I hate Ruth. I dislike almost all of Ruth Ware's books except for The Turn of the Key. And I know that I was gonna give Ruth Ware like a second or third or millionth time. But I don't remember what The It Girl is about. So let's find out. April Clark Cliveden was the first person Hannah Jones met at Oxford. Bright, occasionally vicious, and the ultimate it girl, she quickly pulled Hannah into her dazzling orbit. Together, they cultivated a group of devoted and inseparable friends. Will, Hugh, Ryan, and Emily during their first term. By the end of the year, April was dead. Now, a decade later, Hannah and Will are expecting their first child, and the man convicted of killing April, former Oxford porter John Newville, has died in prison. Hannah is relieved to have finally put the past behind her, but her world is rocked when a young journalist comes knocking and presents new evidence that Neville might have been innocent. As Hannah reconnects with old friends and develops deeper into the mystery of April's death, she realizes that the friends she thought she knew all had something to hide, including murder. Okay, here's the thing. Ruth Ware, though, she's very, very missed with me. Okay, fine, I will. It sounds good, though. Okay, I'll keep it. The whole goal of 2025 was to make my TBR slower, my TBR. I'm making it bigger and bigger. I don't know. The Lost Story of Mina Lee by Nancy Joanne Kim. This was really good. It's very like mother-daughter relationship, and it's about this missing parent and what happened to her, and it was really intriguing. It's very slow, it's very literary. It was good. I think I gave it 3 or 4 stars. I'm just never gonna reread it. Lies That Chelsea Handler Told Me. Yeah, I read it. It's fine. Like I said, I need to work on only getting nonfiction books from the library, reading them and taking them back, or even listening to them on audio with my Libby app instead of this, because I don't need those. Anyways, 3 Perfect Liars by Heidi Perks. Laura has returned to work at Morrison Wood after her maternity leave, only to discover the woman she brought in to cover for her isn't planning to go anywhere. Despite her close relationship with the agency's powerful CEO, Harry Wood, she feels sidelined and outmaneuvered as she struggles to balance the twin demands of work and motherhood. Again, I have not read past that part, so let's continue. Mia was supposed to be only a temporary hire at Morrison Wood, but she has managed to make herself indispensable to everyone that is except Laura. If people knew why she was so desperate to keep her job, they might not want her to stay. Janie gave up everything to support her husband Harry and the successful agency he runs, but she has her own dark secret to protect and will go to any lengths to keep it safe. With signature prose and bone-chilling, plenty of shocking twists and turns. Here's the thing. I don't like workplace thrillers. I'm kind of on the fence on this one, if I'm being honest. Let's see if there's any reviews from anyone that No. BuzzFeed. This disturbing and engrossing novel will leave you holding your breath until the very end. I'm just gonna continue to unhaul it. Let's see. Oh. Okay. So we have Mr. Magic by Kirsten White. This is such a beautiful, dust jacket, but I did not like the book. I was bored. It's a horror novel about this TV show, and the actors of the TV show were kids when they were on it. Think like Barney. And there's dark secrets on set. It was kind of very lackluster for me. And the last one that we are going through right now is People Like Her by Ellery Lloyd, followed by Millions Watched by One. So, this one sounds so freaking good. It's this Insta mom, so this Instagram famous mother. She shares recipes, she shares strategies to handle your monsters, your children, not your monsters. And, she's just a very prominent, well-known mom. But then she thinks that she's being stalked in real life by someone. And I have said this a million times, but I love a good stalker thriller. And this could be that. Here's the thing, though. I have started this book a couple of times, and I think that I've gotten to page 20. I really haven't gotten very far into it. Maybe this one just needs to be an eyeball read. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, okay? But the audiobook just doesn't work for me in this one. So I kind of want to save it. But I've already tried to read it twice, and I don't get past page 20. Oh, Alita! Okay, I'm gonna save it because I am really interested in this one. Okay, well, thank you for hanging out with me for shelf number 2. Going through shelves, shelf by shelf, week by week. I hope it's probably going to be like month by month. It's probably going to be like a 12-month process. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here.